Welcome to Around Town, a show that provides information on North Andover and surrounding towns in the Merrimack Valley. Today's guest is Joe Bella. Welcome, Joe. How you doing?
Very good. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome, Joe. I hear that you have collections of paranormal pictures.
Pictures, yes.
You know, tell our audience about them today.
Yeah. Well, as far as my interest, before 1980, I kind of like either didn't believe or had no interest. Then I met a friend who actually taught me how to dabble a little bit in the beginnings of what will later become a full-blown paranormal activity. I did first start to read tarot cards and tea leaves
Well, that's interesting.
on the bottom of the cups.
Yeah.
And then I found out I was really good at reading people's jewelry, which is a way of
Wow, that's different, yeah.
telling fortunes.
Yeah.
And what you do is just hold someone's jewelry or ring that they've had for a long time, and especially if it's someone new that you don't know the person at all.
Right.
And you'd be surprised what comes out of just by having that
You
contact.
can actually feel something with that jewelry.
And you can tell what happened in the past about that person, and in some cases, the future. And I can say I was between 85, almost 90% accurate.
Wow, that's
in my
interesting,
readings.
really.
Yeah.
Now, it just comes naturally to you then. I
It
mean,
did,
it's not something
yeah.
you're taught.
No.
It's something that comes naturally to you.
Yeah, and then later on, I found out that a relative of mine in Lawrence, my great aunt, she used to tell fortunes in her neighborhood.
She was spooked, huh?
Well, some people would come to her, she lived on Allen Street, and some of the tenants used to come to her saying, "Oh, Mrs. Petralia, we lost something and we can't find it, man." Oh, wait a minute. Look in your bureau drawer in the back below, and there it was. She would tell people where they
Without
found-
touching anything on it, she was just
She
see
knew. She knew exactly where, whatever.
it? Wow, that's wow.
So she had that talent early on,
Yeah,
and I kind of like picked up on it.
really.
In my own
So
way.
how long ago was this that you started that?
I would say after 1980, 80-ish.
So before the 80s, you never
had
realized that you had this.
I basically had an interest in history.
Yeah, right.
History was and still is, my main subject. And I also, like I say, when you mentioned collector, I do collect Lawrence and Methuen items
Right.
that I don't already have.
I see. Yeah, really. I mean,
Space,
you
you
do
know.
have a lot.
yeah, I have an extensive collection of Lawrence and Methuen memorabilia, and I just love the history of the Merrimack Valley,
Right.
primarily.
So then you just wanted to dabble into something like this, right? Into
Yeah,
paranormal?
like I said, this is back in the 80s. It was a long time ago. And I was introduced to one of the very first paranormal groups in the area. And that would be New England Ghost Project. And that was founded by a Ron Kolek from Drake. He had excellent staff. And he asked me to accompany him on some of the adventures or activities,
Yeah.
researching certain properties in the Merrimack Valley area. In fact, I brought some pictures, which I'll be showing as we
So
progress.
you actually been to one of these
Several.
and seen these spirits.
Somewhat, yeah. I've had an experience in a place in Methuen, which I'll show pictures of the same property. But now I primarily visit with a local group now called the Essex County Ghost Project, and that's run by and founded by Tom Spitaleri, a friend of mine.
Oh, yeah.
And so at times I'll accompany that group and try to get. I bring my cell phone and take pictures.
Really, with
And
the
see
cell
what-
phone.
Yeah, and see what comes up. And
That's excellent.
yeah,
So you got some pictures to show us?
I did bring some items from my past experience. I'll start with the small one.
Okay,
the
sure.
small items. And
Sure,
we'll
what
see.
are we going to be seeing here?
Okay, this is a property in Methuen, and the New England Ghost Project people were at the house.
Yeah.
Well, first I'll start with this one. We're on the first floor, and one of the people at that night, it was 2004, I have the actual date on here, Friday, March 19, 2004, Maureen Wood,
Can we get a close-up on that?
she's,
I think we can. You can see it, too, if you...
there it is.
There you go.
She's,
Show them that. Oh, yeah, right there.
yeah, she's experiencing a feeling of the former residents. And the house dates to over 100 and something years old.
Joey, point out where it is on that picture with your finger.
There's a red mark across here. When
right
when I took this shot, this is the first picture I took.
Right.
All of a sudden, I noticed after it was developed, there was a red streak, and the film I had was in excellent shape because
Yeah.
the rest of the pictures came out.
Now these photos aren't photoshopped. Or
No,
anything like
no,
that.
definitely
They are
not.
the real photos,
These
right?
are photos that I took myself, and these are regular 35 millimeter camera.
Yeah.
These weren't digitized or
The
anything
next
else.
one shows it also.
This is the second shot of the same person, and again, she's in a trance, Maureen. She's in a very, very heavy trance, and to me, it looks
Wow.
like an angel going across horizontally because you can make out the wing.
It's something
Here,
going across.
there's a wing shape there, and it's flying that way. So,
Do you know this person?
yeah, Maureen. Oh, yeah.
Did she say she felt anything?
Yes,
when-
she did.
Ah,
Oh boy,
okay.
yeah. That was quite an event that evening.
So they actually feel something then. I mean,
Yeah.
like cold or I don't know.
One of the female occupants of the house, we found out later, had died of consumption, which nowadays we call tuberculosis.
oh,
And then Maureen was getting out of breath. She couldn't catch her breath. And we had to actually stop certain parts
Oh,
of that
yeah.
evening. She had to collect her breath, so
Yeah,
to speak,
yeah.
because she was really feeling the presence of this person's spirit
wow.
in
that's
in the
creepy.
house. Yeah,
Really?
very creepy.
Wow.
But what I want to do is I want to go to a book that was written called Weird Massachusetts.
This
Here,
is-
by Jeff
this is
Belanger.
Stuff that ended that happened in Massachusetts. Show,
Right.
show?
Yes. This gentleman is a really popular paranormal
Oh
person.
yeah, look at the
He's written several
gargoyle
books.
on the front.
Yeah, he's written several books on the subject.
Really, huh?
Yeah.
And this is findings in Massachusetts, right?
Right. Well, he interviewed me by phone, and I'm just going to read briefly what happened to me. This is probably the only experience I've had close up
Really?
of a paranormal event.
Uh huh.
And this is one of the events that we had at this particular property, and I'll read what I quote. I'm just quoting myself.
And what town was this in?
In Methuen.
Not the one.
Okay, and it says, I said, I was there in the evening and we were upstairs with a group. In the back bedroom, there are 2 wall sconce lights, like each side, and underneath I saw 2 rays of light shining down at a 45-degree angle. 2 rays of light for no reason.
Right.
And again, this is based on my eyewitness and my
Your
experience.
findings, yeah.
Right. And the lights had shone down. They were moving about a foot apart, very slowly. So I put my hand through the rays of the light, and nothing happened to my hand or anything else, but I broke the beam. So as soon as I put my hand through the beams, it,
Yeah.
it juggled a little bit, and it just went back into the light
Wow.
and disappeared,
Yeah.
actually. Okay, then someone's cell phone went off. There's some people behind me. And the 2 beams of light went back into the lamp and disappeared. Then about a half hour later, they came shooting down again, and they were angled to the left. And some of the people who were behind me that night saw what I saw, and some didn't. So I would say half, 50, 50, 50. 50 saw what I saw, 50% didn't.
Yeah.
To this day, I still don't know what it was, and I never saw that same rays from that light again.
So it wasn't a figure or anything. It was just
No,
a ray of
just
light that just
two,
came.
two rays of
2
light.
rays of
There were
light.
these 2 wall sconces either side of a large mirror,
Yeah.
like one of those wall mirrors.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for whatever reason, these rays of light shot down that night,
Wow.
and I don't know what they were, what they were all about. That's a mystery.
Yeah, really, huh?
But it
There's
happened.
Something in there.
The story's in the book, and
It sounds like a good book.
it did happen. Yeah, he's written several. This person, Jeff Belanger. Then on the same site, we had a visitor from Connecticut
In Methuen?
to the Methuen building.
Yeah.
And this person went to the building, and she took some photographs before
These are creepy.
the actual event occurred.
Gave me the goosebumps.
I know it. So, let's see, where's the other one? Okay, I have 3. I'm going to show these in order. Okay, this is the first photo, and there's nothing there, as you can see.
Okay, there's nothing.
No. And these are in order. These are in sequence.
Okay.
Okay?
Can we get it? Hold it. This is close
Oh.
up. There you go. See, there's nothing in that picture
Okay,
at all.
nothing in that
Just a
picture.
stairway.
Right.
carpet there and the doorway.
Right. You see
Okay.
nothing in that one.
Now look at the
Okay.
next picture.
This is the second one. And again, this is before the
Now you're going to see something there. Do you
Okay.
notice it?
right
There it is, right
over there.
There's somebody coming into the picture. It looks like
Right.
they came through that, or by that doorway.
And there was no one in the first floor.
Nobody at all.
No, and they were preparing for a.
And this person was on the top taking pictures
looking down. Yeah.
Wow.
And she takes, it's a woman from Connecticut, she takes 3 pictures of one scene and 3 pictures of another scene. So it's usually a tri photo.
Now look where this person went.
And
He went to go play the organ.
there it is right there.
Wow.
And you can
I
see
mean,
the hand,
really.
you can see the hand trying to play the organ down there. And it's a black figure.
Yeah.
And again, there was no one down the first floor when this was, when she took these.
Now, was there somebody known that died in that house, or in other
Well,
words, did
possibly,
somebody get deceased? Was deceased in
yeah,
there?
the house was quite old, dated to around the 1830s.
Right.
So between then and now,
Right. So I'm sure somebody died. in that
anything
house.
can happen. Okay, so the same person with the camera went upstairs later on in the evening, and she went, and it was the bed. There's a bedroom in the back part of the building, and the back part of the building where she had gone upstairs was sort of renovated in the 1880s. It had undergone renovation. So what she did get was, I'll show you the first picture. Okay.
There's a silhouette. Oh, yeah.
And this is looking out the window. She's photographing out the window, and you can see, I think it's a workman of the 1880s, 90s.
Yeah.
An outfit in Haverhill, an architectural firm in Haverhill, was hired to renovate this particular building.
Wow.
And I'm thinking she picked up on someone, one of the workers.
Yeah.
Because he's got a ponytail, and the hair looks kind of brightish color. T-shirt, whatever. And it looks like something from someone from the 80s or 1880s or 1890s, I would say.
Yeah.
And there's another
Wow.
picture of him. Again, this is not photoshopped.
Yeah.
This is just
A real picture.
looking out the window. She photographed this
For all you skeptics.
from
you know.
inside looking out. Yeah, and it's a figure. It's a guy who is right here.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the messy stuff
In the background.
lumpy.
I thought it was a tree, but
I don't know
guess
what that is. It's
too
in the
bumpy
picture.
to be a tree.
And then
like
he-
a street.
Right, and here's the last one, and it shows what I think is an orb.
Oh yeah, that little dot there.
Yeah, an orb is supposed to be something spiritual, and there's the orb right there. And that was the last of the 3 pictures in a row. That she always photographed 3 pictures of the same
In a row.
item. Yeah, 3 in a row, and
In
that was
succession like
and,
that.
right. And then the figure disappeared, and the orb is all that's left.
Wow.
Yeah, it's spooky.
Wow. It's sort of like
Spooky. Yeah,
the Wicked Witch there that comes down in the bubble. Yeah.
I guess I don't know. And then up on the hill behind. Oh, wait a minute. There's another one I want to show.
Oh yes, you got to show the.
This is the upstairs bedroom of the same window that we just saw.
Uh-huh.
In the upstairs bedroom, a gentleman with a very, very strong camera took a picture through
I
a
don't know if you can
mirror.
see it with this picture. Oh, there you
Yeah,
go.
okay. And if you look, where's my hand? Right there,
Yeah.
there's a figure of a lady.
See her head?
There's her head.
That's her head.
Then her hair comes down
Yeah.
right down there.
Yeah.
And when he took this photo, there was no one in the room. The room
Wow.
was
That
completely
was just a
empty.
reflection in the mirror?
That's the reflection of the. He's looking at the mantle mirror,
Yeah, he's looking into the mirror.
right, and behind is the long mirror.
Another
where,
mirror.
where this picture was taken.
Oh,
of-
yeah, okay. It's a mirror to a mirror.
Right.
That's what he did.
Yeah, and that came out, that figure, the black figure.
Wow.
It's a woman with long hair, so
Yeah.
it's got to be an early shot.
Yeah.
And then at midnight, at one of the times that we were there, we took an interesting shot. Someone from Worcester took an interesting shot.
And this is in Methuen too?
Yeah, at midnight on the back yard of this property. And
That is spooky. That's a
this
spooky shot.
this one is a fascinating shot. And I can tell you that the tenants back 100 years or so.
Look at this.
Yeah. Now, if you look here
In the circle.
in the circle, it'll show. It looks like a baby with outstretched hands and no head.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
I know it's small.
Right. And there's somebody sitting there. One of the group from the paranormal group is sitting there,
And he doesn't even know it.
unaware that there's a ghostly figure on the wall standing there with his arms outstretched.
And I'm sure those gentlemen sitting there on the fountain didn't see
They
it
don't
either.
know. And then this picture is used on Halloween. It's been blown up and used in various storefronts in Salem,
Salem, Mass.
Salem, Massachusetts.
For for Halloween.
Halloween
Yeah.
specifically, they've had these blown up. I was told by some people who had attended the events there in Salem,
Really?
Halloween.
Yeah.
They have seen that picture blown up. Now, in a separate place in South Lawrence, a friend of mine emailed me this picture, I would say about almost 8 or 9 years ago. And I can't mention the name of the family, and all I can tell you is the house is in South Lawrence. Real old place. And he took this picture, if I can get it right.
I think that's the right way.
Is that the right way? Yeah, he was looking down the
Those are
stairs.
The stairs, yeah.
Right. And you can see this figure, it looks like something of a cat with a tail.
I'm still trying to figure
A
out
white-
what it is.
Well,
Yeah.
we gave up, and this picture came out randomly. He just photographed looking down the
Looking
stairs.
down the stairs, and he got this in his camera.
Yeah, but again, there's the
It
tail,
does. It looks like, yeah.
and there's the body.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, we don't know what it is to this day, and
Wow.
it's really awkward.
That's
and
interesting.
he has no pet cats. There's
No pets?
No cats.
There might have been pets in the house beforehand.
Beforehand, yeah, probably. The house is quite old. In fact, the house was there when Andover was part of South Lawrence.
Really?
Before 1847.
Yeah.
So to me, it's a fascinating shot. It's the only one from that particular property.
That's interesting.
Yeah, and it's fascinating, I think.
Yeah,
It's-
very interesting.
And parts of the house date to the 1860s. My friend had done a deed search
Yeah.
at the South Essex
Yeah.
Registry in Salem.
Wow.
Parts of the house date back to the 1680s.
Wow.
That's how old the place is.
Yeah.
And again, that's an awesome picture. And to me, it's priceless to see something like that.
It is.
Now, I do have a list of sites. People have told me that they've had experiences where they live.
Yeah.
So I have a listing at home by cities, towns, and so forth. For example, there's a house in Boxford near the old center. And for some reason, the families would not stay. They wouldn't stay
spooked
long.
out.
There was, and I found out from the last tenants that at midnight there would be a strange knocking on the door, and every time they'd go to that door, no one was there. And further down across the street was an old Indian burial ground, dating back possibly the 1700s.
Yeah.
But families who have lived in this house have not stayed. They ended up moving.
Look at that. So they can't keep anybody in this
No,
house.
no, and it's
Is
in
the
Box-
house still there?
Yes,
Is it occupied now? Do you know?
I think it is.
Yeah.
But again, the people that lived there were very,
Yeah.
they couldn't take it. They had to leave.
Yeah. Well, the ones that are there now must like spirits.
And there's a couple in Methuen. Yeah, that's the spirit.
Yeah, really.
There's a couple in Methuen to Oakland Avenue. There's one particular double house where the people that were renting, actually, they weren't the owners, but they were renting, and they had told me of events that took place at night there that couldn't be explained.
Really?
Yeah. And there's another one on Oak Street in Methuen. I was told that it's an old house. I was told that when the family would have supper, for some reason the silverware would fly off the table.
No reason
The
at all.
utensils
Yeah.
would fly off.
That's scary.
And they had a cat that the fur would stand on end at
Animals sense it. They sense things like
night.
that.
Certain days, certain evenings, this cat would freak out,
Yeah.
and they never knew why. The family still stayed. The house was built by the father of the owner, I was told. And so the people there, they just put up with whatever.
And you know these people.
Kind of, yeah, through
I mean, you've talked with these people.
through
Yeah.
other means. They had donated something to the Methuen Historical Society. It was
Yeah.
a rug. I had to pick up the rug.
Yeah.
And the woman did tell me as we were leaving, and it was nighttime, and I had to drop the rug off myself. And it was late. After she told me the story,
Yeah.
I was like, I think I'll wait till the next morning when it's daylight. I'm not going
Come
anywhere.
on, you chicken.
I'm not going anywhere with a rug from a haunted house.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you might have seen something, see?
And then Lawrence has a couple.
I never knew that. Lawrence?
Near Congress Street, there's a house. I think there were two brothers that were murdered in the early 1920s.
Oh,
And I was told the story of, actually, there was another house where people didn't stay. They had people, the buyers coming and going every several years. They never had anyone stay long.
yeah.
And then in one instance, I was told the story that one of the owners was showing the house to some people coming to view, to
Right.
possibly to buy, to make
Yeah.
a purchase. He left the house for something in the backyard. Then he came back around the front. All the doors were locked. They self-locked,
Wow.
probably from the inside, and there was
Yeah.
no one home.
Right.
He was there. He had the key.
Didn't want anybody going in.
All the doors. He just left the house for an instant to
Yeah.
go in the back of the property, and then he told me that one time some black ooze came out of the backyard.
Oh, wow.
And I said, "Well, could it have been oil?" He didn't know. But
Texas tea.
I don't know what it was. He doesn't know what it was. He just said some black ooze came out, and then at another instance, he was on a ladder, trying to doing some minor repairs on the building,
Uh-huh.
and the ladder started to shake. And it wasn't a windy day.
Yeah.
The ladder started shaking. He ended up having to come
Like
down.
somebody was shaking the ladder.
Exactly.
Wow.
And there was no one down
Yeah,
there.
nobody doing it.
And again, it's the same property. It still stands. The building still stands. And I don't think I'd buy it myself.
No,
after
really.
hearing-
I mean, they couldn't give it to me.
No.
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't be that spooked. I mean, I would like to see something like that.
And then there's several homes in Haverhill that I was told about. See, all these are eyewitness accounts that I've kept a log or a ledger
Yeah.
concerning. And some of the places I've been with some groups investigating, and sometimes we hear things. Now, there's a piece of equipment called the EVP.
Uh-huh.
And what EVP means is that this recorder can record sounds that humans can't hear.
Like animals can hear it, but we
Possibly.
can't. Yeah.
And at certain properties I've been to, I've heard once they played back these recordings the next day or whenever later on, you can hear sounds, and it's voices saying "get out," "stay
Wow.
away," or "leave." And they use this equipment primarily in cemeteries, where there's most of the dead
Yeah.
and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I can mention her name, Karen Mossy from Salem. She is fantastic. In fact, she was in some of the recent movies that have come out. White Noise was one movie that she had a lot to do with. And White Noise, of course, was based on
Yeah. Spiritual. Yeah. Yeah.
paranormal events and activities.
Yeah.
And she's excellent with this EVP. She can pick up voices once the recorder has been played, and you can hear actual sounds.
See, there's proof right there. If
Yeah.
anybody's skeptic, they can
Yeah.
use or go with somebody that has one of those.
Right,
What is it called?
EVP.
EVP.
Right.
Okay.
It used to
And they
stand
can
for-
actually hear it.
Right. It stands for something. I can't remember offhand what
I
the
don't know.
initials.
I have no idea.
It's one of the major parts of the equipment used for paranormal investigations.
Right. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
besides cameras and,
Right.
and photo.
Usually they use the infrared.
Yeah.
They can actually see them in the infrared.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I do have more pictures, but these are the more significant shots that came out
Right.
of my
Right.
visits.
How about the mills in Lawrence? I wonder if I mean, there has to be some paranormal in those old mills. I mean, they're
Yeah.
redoing them now. There's a lot of offices in there. But I
Well-
bet you there was. I mean, somebody had to.
Well, the Washington Mills is apartments now,
Yeah.
and the Washington Mills date roughly around 1900s, 1890s, and they've been the interiors have all been renovated
Yeah.
primarily,
Really.
and most of them, the buildings, the apartments are occupied.
Yeah.
They're all mostly all taken up.
Right.
As yet, I haven't heard of anything going
and you
on.
would have too if there was anything.
And
I know
then
you would have.
the wood mill
Yeah.
has on the South Union end.
Yeah.
Those have been, they were originally condos, but they decided to change to apartments. And those are slowly being purchased or rented.
Yeah.
They're being leased out
Yeah.
one by one. Again, as yet, I haven't heard much on anything going on, any activity, paranormal, there.
Right.
But I imagine down the road there'll be something coming up.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Really, I mean,
For that type of situation. Lowell has had their mills converted years.
they had a lot of mills there too.
Boot mills and so forth, and some of them are museums
Yeah.
as it stands. But again, Lawrence, now the duck mill, which was one of the oldest of the mills in Lawrence, before you cross over the Duck Bridge, those are being renovated for apartments.
That's where Ippolito's used to be.
Ippolito's Furniture.
You know, I just realized that now. I just saw that on the building, on the top of the
Yes.
building. It said something duck.
Duck.
Yeah, and I'm saying, oh wow, I never saw that before up there.
Well, those are one of the early mills of Lawrence.
I never knew it was a mill.
And the reason they call it duck is because of the material is waterproofed.
Oh,
And they used to make tents
Right.
for campers, camping
Right.
and so forth. But the material is quite thick material.
yeah,
Water would just roll off like
Right.
with a duck's back.
right. Oh, they're right.
Yeah.
I never even realized that.
So it'd be interesting to see when they complete
Right.
the renovation,
Yeah,
who stays there and what they may
Really?
or may not experience.
yeah.
So those will be open shortly. Right now they're in the midst of the
Yeah, they
more
put new windows in and everything. I know they're
renovation.
doing a lot of
Yep.
renovation.
And you heard of what happened with the duck bridge.
No.
Well, it wasn't always metal. It was wood.
You mean in the pictures that you see when they were building the mills? I see a lot on Facebook. People post them on Facebook. People from Lawrence, they have pictures of when they were building the mills. They
Yes.
no heavier equipment. They did it all by hand.
Right.
In the background, the duck bridge was there.
Right, but it wasn't metal.
It was wood?
It was wood, because
Wow.
in 1887 it caught fire
Yeah,
and it burned
yeah.
continuously throughout the day, and then eventually the larger pieces fell into the river,
Right.
and they floated downriver to Kimball's Island between Methuen and Haverhill.
There's been an island?
Yes, it's still there.
I never
Well,
knew
it's
that.
near 495 Bridge.
Okay.
Well, the old duck bridge continued burning at the point the rest of the day.
Wow.
It ended up on the point.
See, you're even knowledgeable on that in
A
the
little.
history of Lawrence.
Well, there's still a lot, getting back to paranormal stuff, there's still a lot out there
Yeah.
that we as humans do not know,
Really?
as far as goings on and involving paranormal activities and so forth.
Yeah.
There's a lot we don't know about.
I wish I knew. Tell me, come
Well,
on, find out about it.
That's why people
Let us
ask
know.
me, well, how come you have this interest? Well, I didn't always have it. It was just something I picked up along the way.
Yeah,
But I would say before 1980,
really?
not a clue. I had not an interest. I used to watch movies.
Yeah.
For example, Ghostbusters.
And what caught your interest in it? What made you?
Well, the fact that I was able to do fortune telling or read people's jewelry.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more detailed
Yeah.
that way. I did that, and I was pretty good at that. Like I said, between 85, almost 90% accurate.
Right.
And people have come back to me and have told me things that I have told them came true.
That's spooky, Joe.
Well, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I know.
I feel like I was spooked out.
Yeah. And it
I
all
said-
came naturally to you. That's cool.
Well, when I say these things about people and I'm doing the process, I don't know where the information comes from.
It just pops in.
It just it's in there and it comes out.
Wow.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just something that's there. But it took someone else to bring it out.
And you haven't done this in a long time.
No, I did do the tea leaves, again a while ago too.
Yeah.
Also, I did do that. The tarot cards, no, I didn't
Yeah.
want to touch tarot cards
Yeah.
because some of the cards had a lot of gloomy bits of information that
Yeah.
I didn't want to
Yeah.
tell other people. And as far as reading people's jewelry, I never tell bad news.
You just told them the good news.
Well, news. I don't know how
You
good it
just-
is. I would not say anything nasty or if anything's
Right.
going to be tragic.
Right.
I stayed clear of any tragic information. I don't like doing that.
Did you see any tragic information that you remember?
On some people?
Yeah. Did you ever remember seeing
well,
anything tragic?
Very minimal.
Yeah.
Very minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah. But again, if there's something I really felt that was actually the person that helped me along, that started this, one day I couldn't tell. We used to tell each other's fortunes, and I got to a point one time when I couldn't tell his, and I just said, well, maybe I'm tired, or something was wrong, and I didn't feel it. Do you know he died 2 weeks later?
Oh, wow.
He had a neurological problem that no one knew about.
And that's why you couldn't read them, probably.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean,
Yeah.
if I couldn't get the information out,
Yeah.
there was a reason.
Yeah.
But at that time, I attribute it to I was tired or
Yeah.
I just wasn't in the mood.
Right.
But
Right.
I couldn't pick up anything on this guy's future.
Wow.
And he died about 2 weeks later.
Wow, you must have felt terrible.
Well, maybe that's why I stopped doing this after
It
a while.
could be, yeah.
I know it. But no, that spooked me out. when that
Yeah, I
happened.
guess so. It
Yeah.
spooked me out,
It,
too.
it did when that happened. So I kind of slowed down a bit and basically stayed on the paranormal part of it.
Right.
Not the, no, I'm not going to read your jewelry, Jim.
Yeah, okay.
I refuse to do
Yeah.
that. It was just one of those things.
Have you been into cemeteries and seen anything? Spirits? Local cemeteries?
Yes, Haverhill. I've been to Hilldale. Well, I'd like to have you bring someone, Tom Spitaleri should come on because he would tell you a lot of stuff about
Really? He knows, yeah?
especially primarily Hilldale
Really?
Cemetery. I've seen pictures that were taken a year or two ago of a head coming out of the ground
Oh,
at Hilldale.
at the cemetery.
Yeah,
Wow,
it looks
somebody
quite real, quite
Yeah,
realistic.
somebody wants to get out.
It was something to see. This picture.
Wow.
But somebody else took it, and they
Now, spirits are usually people or things
have lived.
that haven't. I don't know what I'm trying to say. That
They don't want to leave.
they don't. That really, they
for whatever
haven't.
reason.
They haven't gone on
No.
yet.
No.
They're still around. I mean,
Yes.
until they go where they have to go
Yeah, there's a particular reason that they're not ready to leave.
to leave yet.
And
They have to
go
achieve
beyond.
something then.
Or it could be other reasons that they
Wow.
chose not to leave.
So that's why we have spirits.
Sort of.
Yeah.
And these paranormal groups actually seek them out, and in some cases they find them. Well, some of the pictures,
Yeah.
they come out.
Right.
I guess, and some do and some don't.
Right.
Yeah, it depends.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Joe, what are those other pictures you have there? Those are those bubbles that we saw before? No, the small ones.
Oh, these are the 2004 pictures of Maureen Wood.
Oh, that's the one. I
these
thought it
ones-
was the other ones that you had. That you showed me the people outside, and then you saw all these,
Oh,
all the.
we'll save those for another time.
what were they? What do you call them again? The dots,
Orbs.
orbs. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh, that one with all the orbs.
Yeah. And then the next picture, the same
there's
place.
none.
There was none there.
Yeah. Well, we thought that was dust or
Yeah,
mosquitoes. or
I thought
something.
it was like bugs or something, but then
Bug.
they took the exact same shot,
'Cause-
and there wasn't a bug there,
No. So that would
or it
probably
wasn't an orb there.
no, and that again, that would have been a paranormal incident.
Yeah.
Something like that happened.
Strange.
Yeah, they're there and then they're not. Who can
Really?
explain these
Really,
things?
can't be explained.
No,
You'd be able to explain it if anybody, because you know a lot about it.
a little.
Well, yeah, a little, a lot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I think it's fascinating now, though.
It's amazing. It's
yeah.
amazing what you can find and what you see.
And then
It's-
cable TV now has come a long way. They've had a lot of shows based on
yeah, they do have a lot.
paranormal groups and stuff.
Yeah, they do have
Yep.
a lot of those.
Yep. In this area, New England has a lot of paranormal groups besides the two I mentioned.
Really.
Oh yeah, quite a bit up in Maine, New Hampshire. I'm not sure Vermont, but I know Boston has several groups. Again, New Hampshire and Maine
Yeah.
have a lot of different groups formed. And-
Even in Maine, huh?
Yeah.
You know anything about in Maine? Anywhere?
Well, I know that the New England Ghost Project has been up to several of the lighthouses researching
That's right. The lighthouse is up there. Yeah.
certain summers, and I haven't gone up there. I think they spend a weekend and
Yeah.
longer length of time,
Yeah.
and they've had experiences at some of the lighthouses up
Right.
there.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them date back either 100+ years.
That would make sense because they used to have keepers.
And-
lighthouses.
And there is a mansion, though, in the western part of the state. I'm not quite sure of the location, but there's a mansion called the Houghton Mansion that the New England Ghost Project, again, has been there several times. And evidently there was a murder that occurred
Really.
on the site, and a lot has been picked up by people going there. Someday I may end up getting out there.
Yeah.
It's empty.
Yeah.
The place is empty. And they don't, for some reason, there's a lot of activity, and it's not good activity there.
Really, huh?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of paranormal stuff that's a tragedy occurred,
Yeah.
and it's going to be a lot of unpleasantness. And that building, unfortunately, it has a lot of unpleasant activity. But like myself, I haven't been there in person, but others that I know have been there.
Yeah.
In fact, you can Google the Houghton Mansion online,
Yeah.
and you can read all the instances
Really?
of what's been picked up. And
That's interesting.
yeah, it's a very hostile.
Can spirits be hostile?
Oh yes, they can
Really?
at the Houghton Mansion. It's a very hostile location. Maybe that's one reason why I'm not going there to stay
They're not
away.
like Casp with a friendly ghost.
At that location, it's the opposite. It's an unfriendly ghost. Yeah, and a lot has been picked up there.
Really?
Yeah, and it's not pleasant.
I've never heard of the place.
I think some of the EVPs, if I can recall, I've been told that some of the EVP messages picked up the spirits yelling, "Get out!" or "Stay away!"
Is it in Maine, you said?
No, Western Mass.
Oh, Mass. That's in Mass.
Western part of Mass. Yeah, I can't remember the name of the town, but if you Google it online, it'll bring
Yeah,
up
Google.
where
You
it
can
is.
find everything on Google.
Yeah, and again, no one lives there, and I guess it's
It's
been
just empty.
Yeah, and
So-
a lot of visitors of paranormal groups visit the place.
Yeah, it's not a museum or anything, right? They don't-
No.
Yeah.
Oh no, far from it. It's very hostile. hostile
Really?
place.
So there's been that.
Yeah.
Stuff like that there.
Yeah, it's one of those places where you have to watch
Oh,
out.
I'd like to go there. I'd like to see that.
Although there is a house in Methuen that the former owner, she passed now, but she had told me she knew the owner who built the house, and he passed. And she and her husband tried to renovate
Yeah.
the interior.
Yeah.
Well, she was on a ladder doing something above near the ceiling. She was actually physically pushed off the ladder, and there was no one home.
Wow.
And
So-
then another day, she was trying to take out one of those folding ironing boards that used to fit into the
yeah,
wall.
fit it right, fold right up to
Well,
the
as
wall.
soon as they took it out, all of a sudden a knickknack from a shelf flew across the room and broke.
Somebody threw it.
Exactly. And then she had a visitor come. She was a wood carver, and she had a business at home.
Yeah.
A woman came from Derry, and she knocked on the door first time, and she said, "Oh, Mrs. So-and-so, are you the person that does the wood carving? I'd like to ask you to do something for me."
Yeah.
So then the woman said, "Yes, I'm Mrs. So-and-so, you're in the right place." So all of a sudden, the woman from Derry, she looks in the house, she's on the front stoop. She looks in the house, and she waits a minute, and she goes, "You have a presence here."
She felt it.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah. The house is still there, although it's been added on to in Methuen.
So there are people living there.
Yeah, the family took over
Yeah.
after the parents passed.
Yeah.
But this woman told me these stories, and I used to visit. And the house was strangely enough at the end of the street, but was on the left side heading west. And it really didn't end. The street continued further, but the house property ended. Then there was a brook down below
Yeah.
in woods.
Yeah.
So it seemed like it was the end.
Yeah.
But further down there was
yeah.
more properties, but it was at the end of some wood lot.
Yeah.
But again, the house, the person who built it passed and died of cancer years ago,
In the house?
years and
Yeah.
years ago. And again, and then, the last story I'll tell you is when she was in bed waiting for her husband to come to bed, he was in the bathroom or something like that, and she was facing away, whatever. She felt somebody sitting on the bed, and she thought it was her husband. She looked up, and there was no one there.
There's no one there. Oh, wow, that's spooky.
He was in the bathroom,
Yeah.
getting ready to go to bed.
Yeah.
And but she felt somebody sitting on her by the foot,
Yeah.
the feet of her bed,
Yeah.
and she looked up.
There was nobody there.
No.
Yeah, I wouldn't stay in that room that night.
Yeah.
I'd go on the couch.
True story. Yeah, she told
That's
me
incredible.
this story. Yeah.
Well, Joe, it's been really, really interesting.
Oh, I'll have
mean,
to come back again. I have,
oh,
I'll have
definitely.
more
I
stories
definitely-
and pictures.
I definitely have to have you back again.
Yeah.
And because I know you know a lot about the Civil War that
Yeah.
happened in Methuen.
Stuff.
Where else did that Civil War happen? Locally, besides Methuen?
Well, Andover, not Andover.
See?
I just came across a beautiful picture of the Grand Army of the Republic
Really?
group in Andover. There was someone photographed them around the early 1900s.
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
left-
we'd like to see that, I'm sure.
Yeah,
Next
I'll
time.
bring that.
One of my other shows, I'll have you on again.
Sure.
I know you have a lot of information, but
a few things.
yeah. But Joe, thank you so much for coming.
Well, thank you very much for
You're a
having
great
me.
guest, and for you people out there in the TV land, if you hear any noises or anything, make sure you look really, really close, because it might be a ghost. Well, thank you for tuning in, and hopefully we'll see you next time.